The Lost World, Jurassic Park. Something has survived. The Lost World came roaring into the theater on Memorial Day of 1997, just 4 years after the release of Jurassic Park. This time, instead of being on an island in a theme park surrounded by dinosaurs behind electric fences, the characters are now face to face with dinosaurs who are free roaming on a different island known as Isla Sorna, where they are thriving, breeding, and despite relying on license, like in the first film, the dinosaurs managed to survive without the use of lysine, because as you recall in the film, if they don't get their doses of lysine, they could perish. However, the dinosaurs managed to survive by feeding off of the vegetations for the herbivores, and of course, the carnivores eats the herbivores, creating a well-established ecosystem. The characters, the moment they step foot on the island, such as Dr. Ian Malkin, Dr. Sarah Harding, Nick Van Owen, Eddie, and of course, eventually, Dr. Ian's Malcolm's daughter, Kelly, who stowed away in the trailer, find themselves on an island filled with dinosaurs that are thriving. At first, things are peaceful. Nothing wrong, nothing unusual, nothing like what took place at Jurassic Park. However, like Ian Malcolm was said, that's how it always starts. But then later, there's running and screaming. And that is exactly how the movie played out. And despite 4 years after the events of the first film, you can definitely still feel the original film, except this time we get to explore more of how the dinosaurs lived and feed and breed and thrived without the constraints of an electric fence. The island known as Isla Sorna was also called Site B in the film. The island was owned and run by InGen Corporation, where they engineered and bred the dinosaurs and nurtured them for a few months, and eventually transport them to Isla Nublar, where Jurassic Park resides, to be featured in the park. However, after the park's failure and abandonment, a hurricane ravaged the island, and the island was abandoned by the company, and the dinosaurs were left to fend for themselves. At first, the company thought the dinosaurs will eventually perish after a few months, as they depend on lysine. However, they soon learned 4 years later that the dinosaurs are in fact thriving, prompting John Hammond to send Ian Malcolm and his team to explore the island and document and observe the dinosaurs' habitat and behavior and how they managed to survive without lysine. Of course, the poachers in the film arrived to capture the dinosaurs to be featured in apparently a new theme park located in San Diego, which I will discuss very soon. However, as beautiful and stunning this island is, it has its danger, and this time, no electric fence will save them. Actually, it never did, hence the T-Rex escaped from its pen in the first film. So, either way, they're pretty much in for a surprise. While on the island, Ian Malcolm and his team, besides dealing with those pesky poachers trying to take the dinosaurs off the island, had to evade a family of T-Rex as they gave them chase all over the island after they brought an injured infant T-Rex to mend its broken legs. Despite Sarah Harding reuniting the infants to its parents, the T-Rex family felt the need to protect pretty much the entire island, as they're very territorial and did not like the fact that their infant was taken from them. And throughout the majority of the film, while on the island, the T-Rex follows them wherever they go, wherever they're at, and they seem to can't catch a break. However, that is not the worst of it. Ian Malcolm and his team, along with his daughter, knew they had to get off the island, and their best chance at survival was calling a helicopter. In order to do that, they had to get to the communication center, which is located at the workers' village, where the dinosaurs were first created and bred. However, they had to cut through the tall grass, which is not really bad if you think about it. However, they will have to deal with a pack of velociraptor. And I'm not talking 3, but an entire fleet of them. As seen in the film, many of the poachers were taken out one by the velociraptors as they cut through the tall grass. Ian Malcolm and his daughters and his team managed to escape unharmed and made it to the village. Eventually, Ian Malcolm, his daughter, and his team, and what remained of the poachers got off the island and returned to the mainland, but not before Ludwig, John Hammond's nephew, captured a buck T-Rex and the infant T-Rex, the same one that was brought to the camp, and brought them over to San Diego to be featured in what would have been Jurassic Park San Diego. That's right. Ludwig wanted to build a park just like John Hammond, but in San Diego instead of on an island. However, that would have been great if the T-Rex didn't broke out and wreak havoc on the streets of San Diego, hinting that why you should never have a theme park based off of dinosaurs. If you ever want to know why, take the incident at San Diego, for example. See that T-Rex with the flying car? That's why. So if you thought, for all you zookeepers out there, if you thought handling lions and tigers was a hassle, try keeping a T-Rex in its enclosure after it broken out several times. You would wish you was stuck with the lions and tigers and bears. The infant T-Rex was taken to San Diego, where a park known as Jurassic Park San Diego was under construction, much like the first film, except Ludwig was hoping to have it open and finished in less than a month. However, that dream never came true, as Ian Malcolm and Sarah Harding intervened and retrieved the infant and reunited with the T-Rex buck, where they lured it back into the ship, and both the buck and the infant was transported safely back to Isla Sorna, but not before the infant made Ludwig its lunch. Both the buck and the infant were safely returned to Isla Sorna, where they were reunited with the dove, where they continued to live on Isla Sorna and lived happily ever after alongside the many dinosaurs that lives on Isla Sorna. They continue to grow and thrive, and as John Hammond would say, and Ian Malcolm would say, life finds a way, and it did. The movie was also directed by Steven Spielberg, who used the same life-size dinosaur puppets and mechanics, and the same CGI effect that made the movie possible, much like Jurassic Park, giving it its most iconic and thrilling effects. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I think I might go ahead and watch The Lost World. That is my most favorite movie of the Jurassic franchise, especially with the dinosaurs. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and comment your favorite dinosaurs. And until next time, stay classy, and I'll see you all in the next video.